need help. Your brain love really needs to be felt. Turn me on, don't make me feel on myself. Brain food, brain sleep, neurology health. Brain love on me. I need you to assess, diagnose, and treat. Reveal what's underneath. Some brain love will give me peace. Prescribe me something, doc. Baby. Brain love on me. Brain love. Brain love. Yes. Brain love.
Hey, guys. It is time for another episode of the Brain Love Podcast. Are you ready to take the couch? It's your host, Dr. Delvina, and tonight I am discussing some very pertinent details about relationships and about when a woman should know when to stop, when to release a brother, because you cannot save him. Let me go ahead and say something that might ruffle a few feathers. But first, my question, are you ready to take the couch? Women, I almost said Black women, but this actually applies to all women. We gotta stop thinking we can save a grown man. We cannot save a grown man. We have to stop thinking we can do that. I'm talking about the ones showing you clear, flashing neon red flags like disrespect, inconsistency, anger issues, lack of accountability, and you still sitting there like, maybe if I love him harder, maybe if I pray a little bit more, maybe if I just stay. Sis, you are not his therapist. You are not his rehabilitation center, and you definitely are not his savior. That man saw the same red flags you saw. He is just comfortable with ignoring them and not getting help, not going anywhere to find out the whys, the hows, the what, and how, and why is he like this. And let me tell you something. As a psychiatrist, potential will have you in a relationship with a man that does not exist. Potential will have you in a relationship with a man that does not exist because you're in love with who he could be while getting hurt by who he is. Let me say that again. A lot of you are in love with who he could be while you're being hurt by who he is. And I get it. We were raised to be strong, to hold it down, to build, to fix, not to walk away. Oftentimes, Christians, they're told that they shouldn't walk away, that they have to stay in a relationship. But I really believe that God does not want us to stay in a relationship and be a fool and allow someone to abuse us and allow someone to use us and allow someone to just do just belittling things to us. And at times, these things are, they include things like rape, sexual abuse, some type of trafficking, the physical abuse, the emotional abuse, the verbal abuse. Sometimes healing looks like letting all of that go. Sometimes self-love sounds like you seeing the red flags and you choose you over him. The most important thing to recognize is that you can't save a man who does not want to be saved, but you can still save yourself. So my question tonight, the real question tonight is, why do women keep choosing these type of men? Why are they choosing them? Why are they choose? Because when you choose a man who demonstrates these dangerous red flags, you're choosing this man over yourself. So give me a second. I actually need to go on Facebook. I'm live on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you can't watch this, I know some of you came in and some of you left, and that's okay because this will post to my podcast. It will post on the Brain Love Podcast sometime tonight. After I do this, it will post. I'm just sharing the link so that folks on Facebook can also tune in. And if you want to come on and have the conversation with me, you are more than welcome to come on here. You guys know I like to have people join me on the couch. I want to know. And ladies, you can join me as well. Please join me and help me to understand, why do we stay in these relationships? We recognize we can't save them and we see the red flags that turn fatal, but we decide to stay. God doesn't want us to be a fool. So tonight we are talking about these mindsets and the behaviors and the decisions that shape and sometimes shatter our lives. I know that you guys, everyone, you know about the late Coral Springs vice mayor who was killed by her husband. That husband is still alive. He is in jail. He was arrested. But also, since that time, there has been another incident of a man, a black man, I'll say, a black man who killed his wife. And actually, he died by suicide. Somewhere along the way, and allow me to speak as a black woman because that's what I know best. Somewhere along the way, many women, especially us black women, we were taught that love means endurance. Do you agree or do you disagree? Were you taught that love means endurance? And if you're a man, a black man, because again, I'm speaking from the viewpoint of a black woman, but this actually applies to all men and women because domestic violence, trafficking, these things, they occur in all households. It doesn't know any race or color. But what I know best is being a black woman. And I feel like being around other black women, being around my family members, being around my black women patients, we're taught that love means endurance and that loyalty means staying and that strength means saving. But today I want to challenge that because sometimes what you're trying to save is the very thing that can destroy you. What you're trying to save is the very thing that can destroy you. Guys, do me a favor. Please go on Facebook on the Brain Love Podcast. Follow the podcast if you're not already doing so. You see the banner on the bottom here that gives you the handles. You can also follow me, Dr. Delvina, on Facebook. Delvina is spelled with E's and no I's, please. And share this segment so that we can have a conversation, a chat about what's happening. Some people have asked me, does this have anything to do with emotional intelligence? And yes, it can. It can, especially someone who does not know how to process stress, does not know how to react to a stressful situation. It can have something to do with emotional intelligence. But when someone makes the decision to kill another person, that goes far and beyond emotional intelligence. When someone makes a decision to kill another person, that's way more than a hiccup with emotional intelligence. That is basically psychopathy. That person is a psychopath. So let's talk about it. There is this dangerous belief that if you just love a man enough, if you pray enough, if you support him enough, that he will change. But the clinical truth is this, that you cannot outlove dysfunction. I'm talking about you cannot pray out pathology. Pathology is disease. It's mental illness. That's what I'm talking about tonight. Pathology is disease, and it can, of course, it can occur physically and it occurs mentally. But tonight I'm talking about the mental aspect. And you cannot heal someone who's not committed to healing themselves. Many women ignore certain things, such as, let's go through the list. Many women ignore emotional instability. Emotional instability. Many women ignore financial irresponsibility, substance misuse, patterns of anger and control. They see potential, but potential is not the reality. Potential is a projection, let's say. Reality is a pattern. So when you ignore certain things like consistent emotional instability, I'm not talking about a time or two when something was happening and maybe they lost their cool. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about ongoing patterns, things that seem to endure because it's always happening. You're ignoring that. This guy is financially irresponsible. He tells you he's not paying any child support because he told that bitch don't have the baby. Excuse my French. But that's financially irresponsible. You help make the child. So pay for your responsibility. Pay for your child. Pay for your children. Help out. You may not have wanted the child, but you certainly didn't carry yourself or execute actions that suggest that you weren't ready to be a father or a co-parent with this woman. Substance misuse, someone who is irresponsible, who has ongoing issues with addiction and misuse. That is a red flag, and they're not working to do anything about it. Alcoholism, overuse of cannabis and weed, popping pills, abusing cocaine. They take a little snort here and there. Smoking some crack. Like that's a red flag. That's a red flag. And ongoing patterns of anger and control, I would kind of put that in the same category as emotional instability. Red flags aren't just red, they are actually warnings. And I think what's happening is that women are staying in these relationships when they see these red flags and they're not leaving. And a part of why they're not leaving is not just because they think they can save a hoe, or they think they can save a brother, or they think they can save a man. They're staying because I think they feel like they have no one else. Maybe there's an issue with self-esteem. Maybe they don't want to start over. Maybe they feel like if I let him go, all of those things that he has potential for, someone else will get those things, and I helped develop this man. Maybe they think that, but it's not worth staying. And I also think women are just so desperate to have a man because society has convinced us that your self-worth is dependent on a man. Your self-worth is dependent on some cat. It's dependent on some guy. So let's talk about the case involving Justin Fairfax. That is the ex-lieutenant governor in Virginia. In reports, it's disturbing. There was a tragic murder-suicide connected to his family. Justin Fairfax murdered his wife, and he then killed himself. He died by suicide. There were serious allegations from the wife because they were going through a messy divorce that included things like alcohol misuse, financial instability. He wasn't paying the bills that he was supposed to pay that they agreed upon, but instead he was using the money allegedly, right? This is what's in reports. He was using the money to take, it says third parties, but maybe they mean other women, to take them on lavish trips, to take them on trips. And also, he had legal stressors, as did she. There was an upcoming court appearance. We are not here together on this couch to sensationalize tragedy. I want people to learn from patterns. That is why I posted a video recently about evil, how evil is not a mental illness. Evil is not a mental health challenge. So someone told me that I shouldn't talk about evil like it's a mental illness. I'm not. If that's what you're comprehending, that's your shortcoming. I am not talking about evil as if it's a mental illness or a pathology or a disease. I'm calling it evil because I want women to recognize, do not stay when it's evil. Don't stay. You are not supposed to stay in a relationship that's possessed by evil intentions. You are supposed to leave. You don't have to stay. When you look at situations like the one that I just described with the ex-lieutenant governor through a psychiatric lens, also the situation with the husband of the late vice mayor of Coral Springs, you begin to see something deeper. There's unaddressed stress. There was substance use in the lieutenant governor's situation. And in both situations, there was emotional dysregulation, which all of that can lead to a volatile person. And volatile people in intimate relationships, it only gets worse. Some people may say they don't see this all the time. They know someone who's in a situation and he's never hit her or whatever. Okay, but we see it enough times that we should pay attention. So let your sister know, let your cousin, your female cousin know, let your female friend know that when someone is volatile, when they're emotionally dysregulated, if substance use is included, also when they're stressed and overwhelmed, Do not stay. You're not a therapist. Let that man go and get professional help and come back to you when he's healthy. I think women stay. I mentioned earlier why I think some of them stay. I also think they stay because of something called trauma bonding. Those are cycles of pain followed by affection that creates emotional addiction. I think that they're trying to hold on to the potential that a man has. I think that we hear so much about being a ride or die, holding him down, that we've been conditioned and convinced that we should stay. I also think that there's some fear involved. Not fear, being fearful of this guy, but fear of starting over. I mentioned that already. Fear of being alone and feeling like you have failed. And actually, the other day I was watching a video on YouTube about Tisha Campbell and Dwayne Martin, I think is his name, Dwayne something, Tisha Campbell's ex-husband. And she mentioned that she wanted the relationship to work because she feared looking like a failure in her personal relationship after leaving the show Martin. She left Martin and she felt like a failure then. Allegedly, she was going through some abusive type situations on that show. She gets married to Dwayne Martin, and when she sees these red flags, some of which I just described, she doesn't leave because she doesn't want it to look like the issue was her. You can't care what people think. You cannot care. For many of us, we've been taught to be strong, to be resilient, but no one has told us. And in fact, I think a lot of us have seen our Black aunts, our grandmothers, our mothers, we have seen them stay in relationships. And somehow it's been ingrained in us that we are required to build a broken man. But he comes from a history of being broken. I'm sure it's embedded in the way he was raised and also what he has seen. And oftentimes with these men, there is no father figure. There is no man in their life teaching them and directing them and helping them and giving them more clarity and telling them, you are wrong for saying that to her. You are wrong for doing that to her. So we're staying trying to build these men who don't have what they need for us to help redirect them and help them to do better. We're staying and we don't have what we need. I just said it and I'll say it again. You are not a therapist. Ladies, you are not therapists, and you should not be trying to provide therapy to your man anyhow. That needs to be done by an unbiased party, a neutral party, a mental health professional. So when you ignore those red flags that I mentioned, it leads to risk factors. And that's how things implode, explode, things go to hell in a handbasket. Because we are ignoring all of these things, we allow these men to do these things, and then a tragedy occurs. So when I posted a picture of the couple, the vice mayor of Coral Springs and her husband, I posted a picture of them together. Someone came on my post and said, you can take this down or change the picture. It was a friend of the vice mayor, Miss Nancy. One of her friends or coworkers came on and told me to take down the picture because he didn't deserve to be in this picture with the vice mayor. That due to the fact that this man was evil and murdered, allegedly. Well, not allegedly, he admitted it. He admitted that he murdered his wife. He murdered the vice mayor. So it ain't even alleged. They wanted me to take down the picture. And I said, respectfully, nope. N-O-P-E. Nope. 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 I am not taking down the picture for the simple fact that you guys are trying to hide the thing that was a part of the issue. Everyone thought things were hunky-dory. They were taking all these pictures, posting, smiling, having a good time. Meanwhile, she's living a fucking nightmare. Meanwhile, she's in a nightmare. So I want women to know, to acknowledge, to see that It is not worth posting things to appear like you're happy when you are not. For me, I don't like posting a lot of stuff anyhow about my personal life because it's no one's business. But if you want to post and things just don't work out, it's okay. It didn't work out. Fucking claim that shit. Embrace it. It didn't work out. We are over. We're no longer together. Let that shit, let it go. Because it's not worth staying and trying to prove that we made it work. What's the point in that? So these red flags become risk factors. Red flags are not just annoying behaviors. They are risk indicators. Like I said, things like substance abuse, financial instability, legal issues, past practice predicts future behaviors. I'll never forget it. A colleague said that. We were downrange together in Kuwait. He's a child and adolescent psychiatrist, and that was in 2014, and I never forgot it, and it's so true. Past practice predicts future behaviors. If someone's telling you that or how badly they shit on their ex-wife or their ex-girlfriend or their baby mama, best believe when stuff does not work out between the two of you, they will do the same thing to you. Someone who has poor impulse control, that's a risk indicator. They go off a lot. They can't control their anger. They don't know how to handle stressful situations. They make decisions to buy big ticket items without thinking it through first. They don't have a strategy. They don't plan things out. They just are just very impulsive. That too is a risk indicator. And escalating anger. These are not just phases. These are actually things that should be paid attention to. And risk factors can stack. Someone can have a lot of risk factors. And that's when relationships can move from unhealthy to unsafe. When you start to see all these things, when they start stacking all these risk indicators, they're unsafe. Substance abuse, financial instability, legal issues, poor impulse control, escalating anger. And based on what I read and people, it sounds like to me that the ex-lieutenant governor had all of these things: substance abuse, alcoholism, financial instability. Don't think he was working. He was a little depressed and sad about that. He was not paying child support, not paying alimony, and spending the money, according to this People article I read, spending the money to go on lavish trips. Now, were these trips impulsive type trips? Who knows? Legal issues, escalating anger. He was diagnosed with some sort of depressive disorder, according to an article I read, and was told to get help. He didn't get help, and I don't know. And for some reason, the two of them still live together. Who the F? Why are you still living with the person you want to divorce? You want to divorce this person, and see, I'm just an outsider looking in. I don't know the full story. But I have questions. Okay, so I'm sorry if I'm giving you the truth that you need to hear. This is the truth that you need to hear. And if you yourself watching or listening, if you don't need to hear it, share this with someone who you feel needs to hear. It's okay for us to all be on one accord and to say this clearly, that we cannot save a man who does not want to be saved. We cannot fix broken men. And right now I'm just talking to the sisters, but yeah, this could apply to women too, of course, in case someone is asking that or wants to make the comment. Of course, this can apply to women as well. Someone just posted on IG, knowing yourself and accepting when it's not working. Don't worry about what people will say. You can't worry about what people will say. You can't. When it's time to walk away, you have to walk away. And thank you so much, Trillmonger. I love what you do. Thank you. So saving yourself looks like this. Keep this in mind. You got to set boundaries and you have to abide by them. I don't let anyone I'm dating, I'm in a relationship with, you are not calling me a bitch. You're not cussing me out. There will be repercussions. You're not going to just cuss me out and think you're going to get away with it. We're not doing that. You absolutely will never lay a hand on me, not a finger. You will not hit. My father didn't hit me. So you are not going to roll up in the crib and lay hands on me. It's just not going to happen. You're not laying hands on me like you're the pastor. You're not laying hands, sir. Not at all. Not ever. And so we have to set those boundaries and make it clear. You can make it clear from the beginning if you want to. But as soon as, let's say, you see someone getting out of control, they yell at you at the top of their voice. They use profanity. They curse you out. It's going to happen again. Walk away in the early part of the relationship, because when you do so in the first chapter, more than likely those trauma bonds have not been created yet. Hopefully you haven't smashed, so there's no sensation about how it felt to be in an argument and follow that with some love making. That's not in your decision. That's not in your, you're not factoring that into your decision making. Another thing to keep in mind to save yourself, besides setting boundaries, it's to believe patterns, not promises. They can tell you all day long what they'll do or what they won't do anymore, but you have to believe what you see. You have to believe what you see. You have to believe what you see. You have to believe patterns, not promises. Another way to save yourself: leaving when it's hard, not when it's too late. Because too often women don't leave when they should. They leave when they have to. Leave in the beginning. And sometimes when you leave too late, tragically, they never get a chance to leave, like Nancy, like the lady who was married to the ex-lieutenant governor. So saving yourself looks like setting those boundaries and abiding by them. If you love yourself and you love yourself more, you will set these boundaries and you will maintain them. You will not allow someone to dismiss you, to disrespect you, to belittle you, to berate you. You will not allow it. And especially you will not allow the abuse. And I'm saying it because so many of us, we don't necessarily think about these things. And then when we're in a situation and it's happening to us, we don't know what to do. So learn from other people you hear from, or from ladies who are speaking out about domestic violence and violent relationships. Set the boundaries, believe the patterns, not the promises, and leave in the beginning when it's early still. Leave. And it might be hard to leave when it's early too, but leave. Don't leave when it's too late. Don't leave when it's too late. If anyone wants to come on, I'm inviting you to come live. Let me know. You can come on live and share a story or ask a question, whatever it is you'd like to do. So I do appreciate you guys. I know I just get on here. I don't announce it first. Typically, I go live on a Sunday night. So you can look for me on Sundays around this time. Thank you. And if you're not able to watch the whole thing, or you want to share this with someone, feel free. The links are in my bio on IG, as well as on Facebook on the Brain Love Podcast. I'm on YouTube as Dr. Delvina Thomas. Please subscribe to the Brain Love Podcast. I am trying to increase my following on Spotify. So help me out with that. If each and every one of you who pulled up tonight and came through, if you go on Spotify and you subscribe on Spotify to the Brain Love Podcast, that would be wonderful. I have a Brain Love takeaway for you. Stop asking, can I help him become better? Because more than likely you can't. You have to start asking yourself, is it safe for you to stay? Love should not feel like survival. I'm sure you heard love shouldn't hurt, but love should not feel like survival. Love should never cost you your peace, your safety, or your life. If you're not at peace in your relationship, rethink it. Maybe you're not with the right person. Love doesn't hurt. Love isn't hard. Yeah, we have challenges and you got to work through some kinks, and certain factors make it a little bit more of a challenge than it should be. But Certain things should make that relationship or staying in the relationship a non-negotiable. Violence is one of them. And profanity and yelling and anger, to me, that's considered violent. So I think you gotta consider leaving the relationship sooner than later. Thanks for coming on, guys. I appreciate you for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at info@Dr. Delvina Help. I'm typing it here. info@drdelvinahelp.com. And again, check me out on some of these platforms. So someone said only he can help himself. It takes effort. It really does. So this looks like, I think this is a man who stated this, only he can help himself, and with a mental health professional. So let's encourage our brothers to go to therapy. Let's encourage our people, all people, to go to therapy, but especially our Black men. Let's encourage them to go to therapy. If you know a deadbeat, you know someone who made a baby and they're not taking care of that child, let's encourage them to do the right thing. Let's encourage them to do the right thing. Bring love. Love really needs to be felt. Serve me on, don't make me feel on myself. Brain food, brain sleep, neurology, health.